This is About That Business, hosted by Rom Wills, author, speaker, and entrepreneur. Sit back and enjoy.
Greetings, fam. Today I'm going to talk about automation biting itself. Yeah. You know what? Yesterday I was at the library and I was picking up this book, and for all my budding entrepreneurs out there, or for my entrepreneurs, one of the best things you can have is a library card, because you got resources for everything. True story. I'll get back into the automation stuff, but true story. I knew this dude back in the day, right? He was very intelligent. He had some type of business. The legality of it is questionable. But that being said, I remember he needed to do taxes for the business. My man he wasn't making money to hire some like high price accountant, because apparently the tax work was beyond like that stuff you can do yourself in your living room. Nah, this required like a major corporation type of attorney, right? My man didn't have the money for that. And his cheap ass probably wouldn't have paid anyway if he did have the money. But what he did, he actually went to the library, got out a book on the type of tax work that he needed, read that book, and was able to file something without any problems. Just from the library. So it's a great resource. Anyway, back to our regularly scheduled podcast, right? Check it out. Automation might bite itself, and this is the reason why I say this. Okay, so I'm at the library, right? I had to pick up this book, and it'll be a surprise. It's something I'll probably talk about on my other channel. But picked up the book, was about to get in line to check out, right? And so, okay, this nice older lady came over to me and said, "Hey, you want to go over here?" And it was to the self-checkout, right? And I knew about the self-checkout. I had never used it. The reason I never used it is I tried to avoid using that type of stuff as long as possible. Anything like self-checkouts and everything. Now, admittedly, I do it at grocery stores, but sometimes that's just because I'm real cool with the woman who works at the self-checkout thing, woman who oversees it. So, but usually if she's not there, I don't even use the self-checkout. I just get in a line, because my thing is, the more I get in line, the more, that helps somebody keep a job. And that was my same logic with, at the library. I would say, shoot, the line ain't long for the librarian. It was like just maybe one other person, and I didn't mind waiting. But she took me over there anyway, and she said, "Look, why don't you help me out, because they watching me right now, right?" And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I got you." She was an older black woman, right? So, and she was very nice. So, I was like, "Oh, okay, let me help you." She said, "I gotta show people this stuff, right?" All right, so I did that, and I went through it, and we started talking. And I said, "Look, I don't really like all of this, because, we could get this, and all of a sudden, y'all gonna start losing jobs." And she was like, "You know what? I understand." She said, "Yeah, this." I started talking about the automation part, but she said, "Yeah, this machine doesn't need to eat or sleep." And see, if they get rid of these jobs, and she said like 20, 25 jobs, so there might be some stuff going on at my county library. But she said it doesn't eat and sleep. It doesn't go out and buy food. It doesn't buy things. See, here's the problem. And that was deep what she said. We talked. It was cool. It was cool. I'm one of those people, even when I look like I don't feel like being bothered, everybody wants to talk to me. But anyway, right? She had a very good point. See, we're talking all this stuff about automation, and you get all these people who own the automation, they're looking at how much money they're going to make. they're looking at how much money they're going to make, right? They don't, and how much, they don't have to pay those salaries out. All they have to do is for the upkeep of they have to pay for the machines, have the upkeep. I mean, I saw a video one time of somebody who figured out how they could automate pizza making and delivery. I'm like, you kidding me? And you know what? All that is very possible. They could have a situation where they make a machine makes a pizza and then with driverless cars have it delivered. They talking about driverless cars, drones, and everything. I can imagine a bunch of drones flying around delivering pizza. All right, yeah, you know what? That sounds good for a science fiction novel. Here's where the problem comes in with the whole automation and why it might bite itself. These owners are, they're getting happy. They can save all this money, right? But there's a very real scenario of them going out of business. And people say, well, why is that wrong? Okay, they making all these products. Somebody has to buy the products. There's a famous story told about Henry Ford when he was making his Model Ts. He actually paid his people a little bit more than average. Back in the day, it was either $5 a day or $5 a week. Whatever it was more than the average person would make. And he said, look, I want my people to be able to buy my cars. See, as these machines are putting people out of business, somebody isn't thinking, wait a minute, who's going to buy my product if all these people don't have a job? I want y'all to think about that joint. Who is going to buy my stuff? You got to pay people enough to buy your product. That's why to a certain extent, even though I love saving money, sometimes I'll just spend money on just whatever. Just frivolous, just to keep. There's a certain amount of money I earmark just to keep in the economy. Oh yeah, I still save, but I actually put some money I could save into the economy purposely. The reason why people gotta have money to spend on your stuff. It don't matter if you have a pizza delivery thing where you're going, everything's automated. Well, if people are unemployed, they might not buy pizza anymore. In fact, other than some basics, because you have some people predicting mass unemployment in the wake of automation. Okay, that word I said 1,000 times. You know what? You always trip over at least one word, even though I could say my own name and trip over at least one time, like once every month or something. But here's the thing. People got to be able to buy it. And especially these people using automation for some things that aren't important. Like somebody using automation to make toilet paper. Oh yeah, they'll probably stay in business. People will find a way. Hopefully. And basic stuff. But sometimes pizza, people might be saying, you know what? I don't really need pizza that badly. Or it could be anything. Because there's a lot of stuff out there that it's crazy. It's why? Why bother? Why buy it? Or they talking about driverless cars and everything. Some people, they talking about some of these ride share companies and stuff. They talking about having driverless autos. Somebody might say, well, shoot. If that's putting some cab drivers and stuff or bus drivers and stuff out of business, shit. Those same people ain't gonna come back and buy some things. See, that's the thing. Because there's no guarantee, even though some people are talking about businesses that can replace the businesses being automated, it could take a while for something to happen. And here's the thing, there's no guarantee. There's no guarantee that someone will come up with that idea that can employ millions of people like that, keep people employed. Now I know, a lot of people, there's been some talk of basic income. I mean, other than a new industry rising, that might have to be a serious conversation. And that might have to be funded. Those people making the money off the automation, they might have to be taxed. Because if the people at the bottom who are buying their products don't have money, then they go out of business soon. All of a sudden, it's a waste. all of a sudden your stuff is piling up, and that happens all the time. All the stuff those machines made, they piling up if people don't have money to buy it. Because that's the one thing, and that woman brought it up, the librarian brought it up. That machine is not going to eat and sleep. It don't need food. It don't need water, and just the nature of it. All it needs is maybe some circuits replaced like once every 5 years or something. That's it. That person though that's working, that person is going to need clothes. That person is going to need shoes, a place to sleep, likely a car to drive. See, that one person is going to help keep several industries afloat. But if you take that one person, put that one person out of a job, and then you multiply that by 1 million, all of a sudden there's going to be some industries that go down. So, and this a real conversation. I haven't seen it that much. I ain't gonna say somebody hasn't had this conversation and brought this up, but it's something that really needs to talk about. That needs to be talked about. This automation might ultimately come to bite itself in the ass. It might. Because I think that's the problem with a lot of the owners. They thinking like owners. They not thinking like consumers. And if you don't have people who can afford your product, your ass will be a consumer soon. So anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Let's go make that money.